Hello and welcome to the first part of this tutorial, right? So the video before this is just kind of an interview or overview and an introduction to what we hope to eventually get to. So this is a tutorial, 2D game tutorial using OpenGL and lightweight Java game library. Mostly OpenGL though, but there is some lightweight Java game library thrown in there. I am your host, Dad Who Games 1, and yeah. Go ahead and give some credits and honorable mentions, of course. Always want to give credit where credit is due. Roy Snow, an amazing coder. He is the inspiration behind this. He inspired me to go beyond what he did and make something that was what I wanted, right? So that's where that comes from. And of course, my family has had a lot of input in this game going forth. So you'll see some of the elements, and I'll try to remember and mention that when we come to it. Where we're going and kind of the roadmap of what we want to do. So today it's going to be all about creating the game engine or the game core, make sure we get a window open, where controller works, and we're able to move a sprite on the screen. Next video we'll have more game elements such as adding tiles, sprites. I don't know if we'll get all the way through it, but that's the next part, adding collision, interactions, and sounds to the game. And then we'll add some NPCs, some monsters, and other game mechanics that make it a true RPG game. Then we'll add some dialogue, we'll have a UI interface, lighting and weather, and game time, not like runtime that makes the game run, but actual game time that counts minutes, hours, days, weeks, things like that. Then we'll add some quests and some in-game elements as well. And then that's a rough idea. It will probably change. I noticed, when I was following Roy Snow's videos, he set out a roadmap, and as he went along, people added suggestions, and he implemented some of those, and he had to go back and fix a few things because it just didn't work right, or there was a better way to do it. I'm sure that will happen as we go through. I'm open to your suggestions as you follow along, and would love to hear them. All right, and let's get to it. All right. Nope, not that one. There we go. All right, let's pull this up. All right, so I'm going to start off with the assumption that you know how to add the files for OpenGL and Lightweight Java Game Library to your project. If not, I might make a video about doing that, but I'm going to start with the assumption that you know how. Okay, so I'm going to name this project game tutorial. No, I don't want it up there. Let's change the name of that. Where is that at? Refactor, yep, rename. Video. It's going to put it above. That's fine. All right, that's a good place for it. That works. All right, and then inside here, we need to import our libraries. Here, I'll slow down and tell you step by step, my bad. So you come down here, you go to build path, add libraries. User library, we get lightweight Java game library and OpenGL.
And see, you can tell. So with when I finished Roy Snow's video with the things I added, so I had like 250 by 250 maps. I had many monsters, many NPCs, and just it became overwhelming. I mean, I have a gaming PC, so I was like, what's bogging my game down? And it turns out that not only did I have to give it more virtual memory to begin with, but the garbage collector and just the different things that were happening really slowed it down. So I found out about Java FX, and I converted everything to Java FX, and it ran a little bit faster, but eventually ran into the same issue. So that's where I decided to go OpenGL Lightweight Java Game Library. And so far, sorry, I just got a little bit of a cold thing going on here. So far, it's been working well. Now, I have found, I don't know why, but this thing right here, moduleinfo.java, get rid of it. For whatever reason, it prevents at least mine, from running. So I've just had to get rid of it. All right, in our source folder, we're going to create a package, and we're going to name it main. Right. And inside that package, we're going to create a class. And you guessed it, we're going to name it main as well. Because, I mean, it's really, that's the best title. I tried not to copy everything from Roy Snow exactly, because one, you know what, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? He's got a great tutorial going, and yeah. So I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. Also didn't want it to look like I was plagiarizing him. That is not my goal at all. My goal was to make a 2D game that fit what I needed. Oh, I forgot one thing. Go ahead and delete that class. And this will happen a lot. I'll make mistakes, and we'll go through it. And this box right here, public static void main. Click it. Just save some typing, right? By the time I deleted it and put it back in, I guess I could have typed that out, but you need that line in there. It will all work right. So let's get started. And by the way, also the way I'm doing this, I'm not going to go back and forth between different classes and implement and call things and instantiate things. And nope, it'll be class by class for the most part at the beginning. As we get to adding more elements, like adding quests, yeah, we'll have to go back and forth a little bit, just because you got to put things in. It's better to put them in an order than just, and we've already got thousands of lines of code by that point. So anyway, all right, game equals new game. And you'll notice some of this will be an error, and it'll stay in error until we get these other classes and elements implemented. But trust the process. I promise it will work. And we will eventually get there. I will also probably go a little bit faster than Roy Snow did, just because he was making a tutorial mostly for people who had never coded before. So mine assumes you've done this before, and you just haven't quite caught how to put in controller. Why is my brain slow today? So I've been working a lot. Logic, controller logic, or weather logic, just things like that. Or how to make foreground and background tiles differentiate each other, or how to, just different things. Anyways, we need another class. We're going to call this one game, because this is essentially the core of our game. This is our game engine, our game core. What makes it all work together? So we need a private long window. And this is going to allow that window to open, well, one of the parts of it. And then let's get our sizes. I love, one of my favorite things about watching his videos was he would go along and he would, his typing, you know, he would add or leave off letters, and yeah, that was fun. I hope to see him back, make a new video soon. After this, I think I want to tackle 3D. I played with it a little bit, but it wasn't quite what I wanted, so I gave it a break. I let my brain mull it over a little bit and think about, you know, what it is I wanted to do with the game. And kind of the idea behind it is I want a Minecraft meets Final Fantasy kind of game. So this will be an error until we make the controller class, but like I said, we're going to stick with the game class, and then we'll go make the controller class, and boom, it's done, right? All right. In it, and this is where a lot of the stuff gets called, a lot of the stuff is made. This is a lot different from streaming. I'm used to streaming and having people there to interact with, so I apologize if I go silent for a little bit. The wife is out doing shopping right now, so this was the perfect time to do this. My son, he was in here watching the show, but I got finished up and I was like, all right, buddy, I need the space now. So I sent him off to his room to go play his game. I have been fascinated by this, to be honest. And now I'm kind of at a point where it's like, you know, I'm not exactly sure what it is I want to do next in my game. So hopefully this will give me some inspiration for that. Keep some space here. Create our window. We're going to keep width and height, but then we're going to go this could be our title. Now we need 0 and 0. We're done with that. throw an error if it fails to create the window, which it should not. But it's always good to have these safeguards in place, just in case. Window. Exception here, and tell it what to tell us. It failed to create window. I think I misspelled something. Ah, yes. There it is. T shouldn't have been capitalized. All right. It's always fun when you do something like that. And you're like, what did I do? Where is the mistake? And I have spent hours looking for the mistake that I've made. All right. So if you get caught up and you're looking, just go back through line by line, letter by letter, and I'm sure you'll find it. Okay? Don't give up. Especially as we get going. As we get going, it'll get intense, especially like you go along and there's something in there that doesn't throw an error, but it prevents something from happening, and you're like, what in the world? And you can spend hours looking for that. All right. So there's the window. Now we need our orthographic projection set up so that basically like the geometry of it actually works. Listen to me sounding all knowledgeable and stuff. I'll admit, I am not, I've gotten better. I'm not very knowledgeable though when it comes to OpenGL. I'm learning, but it is different for sure. All right, we need 0. Window width. No. Oh, they're back. Width. Window height. 0. -1 and 1. Alright, then GL11.GL matrix mode GL11 dot GL underscore model view. All right, give me just a second here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so from the previous, hopefully we get these stitched together. Otherwise, it's 2 videos, whatever. Right before I had to turn it off, model view right here. That should all be capitalized, okay? I had it as lowercase, it needs to be capitalized. All right. Yeah, we're almost done, guys. And we got a controller equals new roller. We can import it. Doesn't really do a lot of good to import it right now, but just go ahead and do it, and once we do get the class made, it'll work out. All right. So now we've got to create some time within our game, right? So things can actually move properly. All right. Public void loop. Not lupus, but just loop. A little house joke there. This is a real simple way of keeping time for right now. We will make it more in depth as we go along. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. There we go. I thought that was a little off. There we go. I don't think that needs to be cut off. It does not. All right. They got me all flustered here. All right. Anyway, back to this. All right. So while the game should not close, or the window rather, should not close. Okay, what am I missing? No. About W window should. Oh, window should close. My bad. There we go. We need to pull our events. That's basically mostly for the controller. I haven't thought of another reason why we would need to pull events, but it could happen, I guess. I haven't had to make anything yet to pull events, and then we're going to need an update method and a render method, and we'll create those now. Right. And then we need the frame to appear, so we need to swap our buffers. So glfw swap buffers, class window, and we're good there. All right, let's make our update method. All right, so this is going to mainly revolve around the controller for now, because that's about all that really needs to be updated besides time. Controller input if controller dot uppressed speed times delta time. And we're going to do this for each direction. I will try moving forward to have an uninterrupted time to do this.
So that
They finish their shopping at Sam's Club. Now they're off to Walmart to do what they need to do there. Hopefully we can get this finished before they get back, and I'm quite certain we can. All right. And then we're just going to add a couple of printouts to see if, well, to make sure that like all buttons are being pulled. Okay, pressed. System.out.line a button pressed. Controller.b pressed. And honestly, I hope that you eventually, as you're watching this, and we get a little bit further in, you're like, hey, here's an idea. And you start implementing your own things, just like I did. Because I have a lot of things that were not in his original game concept that I implemented, like a storage chest. That was one of the first things I did. I noticed that, like, well, we could take the merchant NPC and merge it with the chest sprite, a little bit of manipulation of the logic, and we have a storage chest. I added the original coding for it onto his videos. I don't know if he took it down or left it up. I don't know. Hopefully he left it up so other people could enjoy that as well. All right. Now let's draw our rectangle. This needs to be public. Void render. We need to clear the screen. It's always a good idea. Clear color. Color. I always like the way he said color too. And even now, like, I get stuck or I need an idea, I go back and watch this video. I really do. I have spent a lot of time rewatching his videos. There is a lot of knowledge within his videos when you want to go to implement codings and things like that. So you can go back and be like, oh yeah, that's how he did this, and then you can manipulate what you want to do. All right. Hopefully, like I said, you get the same thing from here. All right, GL gl color 3f. So I'm going to have we'll change that up a little bit later too. We'll go, I believe we go to 4f. Quads, because we're dealing with a rectangle. And then we'll actually make the rectangle gl dot gl vertex 2f, and we've got, nope, not gf, good gracious, rect x and rect y. And with this, save a lot of typing, because I do like saving typing. So we need 4 of these, so 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so the first one stays the same. The second one, plus 50 on the x, y stays the same. The third one is plus, and this is just the size of it. You could make the 50 25 or 100, or whatever number you want to be the size you want. Alright, the third one has plus 50 on both, and the last one just has plus 50 on y. Right. So the first one creates the rectangle. The second one, how big is it going to be on the x coordinates? How big is it going to be on the y coordinates? Or the x and y coordinates, and how big is it going to be on the y coordinates? There you go. And we just need to close this, and to do that we gl11.gl end, and there we go. Now we have one last thing to do here. Void, and that is, just like with anything else, we got to clean up our mess, right? glfw.glfw. So if we close the window, we need to destroy the window, and that also means glfw terminate. So if we close the window, no more game. Alright? Alright. Yes, I know we have a lot of errors. We're getting ready to fix those right now. We're going to create a new class, and this one is going to be controller. Alright. And we've got, we got to get a joystick here. Private. Joystick ID, and that I is capitalized there in case you missed it. Sometimes I know it's hard to see. The I is capitalized, the D is not. Alright, now we need a boolean for our directions. Oh, we got up, stop that, up, pressed, down, pressed, left, pressed, right, pressed. And now here's where you could do a little bit different. So these are your directions, okay? You could create another boolean underneath this that has the following: A, press, because essentially they're doing different functions. You could have a separate boolean for them. You don't have to, but you could, because it's all a boolean, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, there we go. Alright. Public controller. Yes, baby.
Hey, do you want hamburger meat? You know, I thought it was just cheese.
What?
Do you want hamburger meat inside of your nacho cheese or just cheese?
Just cheese.
Okay, love you.
Love you too. Sometimes. All right. For and I equal GLFW. Yeah, GLFW. And this time the second GLFW is capitalized in case you did not catch that. Joystick underscore 1. I less than or equal to GLFW dot GLFW underscore joystick underscore last. I plus plus. Alright, and then if GLFW dot GLFW dot joystick. Would help if I could spell joystick present. Oh, come on. There we go. Present I I think I have one too many. I think that's the problem. Maybe not. Okay, we'll see what happens. That's really weird. Oh, there's no dot there. That's why that's there. We go. Joystick ID equals I. And system. I want it to tell us if it is connected or not. GLFW dot GLFW get joystick name. And I don't know what joystick we are getting. That other quotation should go there. All right. Very interesting. All right, and then we get to the break. Why? Huh. This is very interesting. I don't know why it's in error. It shouldn't be. Oh, see, the simple little error. And now, why are you in error? Underscore joystick underscore 1. Oh, see, another little one. There we go. Two little errors, and you're like, what? Oh, all right. Anyway, now let's create our poll class. And if joystick ID is -1, return. We have success. Up, west equals down, west equals left, west equals right, west equals false. And again, you could make separate lines, or you keep it all one line. I went ahead and separated it down here because I just did. All right, A rest equals B rest equals start rest equals false. All right, now we need the access data so that we can use it. So we gotta get a float buffer. Access, whoop, no space, buff equals glfw dot glfw get joystick access, and that's going to be from the joystick ID. There we go. And then we'll import float buffer as soon as it appears. There we go. For whatever reason, these two things, and so far, I think it's only these two things so far, for whatever reason, they don't like to show the import nearly as fast as other things. And if the float buffer is not null, and the access buffer limit greater than or equal to 2, we can move on. Float x equals access buff get 0. Float y equals access buff get 1. All right, now let's give it some direction. If L x. By the way, that's left stick, right? Okay. If lx less than negative 0.3, and again, like I said, we will get left best equal true. More detailed input from the controller later. Right now, this is just very rudimentary to get it off the ground, right? Right. First equals true. If ly less than negative 0.3, I'll put a space there before. Let's put a space there and a space there, just to keep it uniform. Oop. This is up pressed equals true. If ly is greater than 0.3, and this the 0.3 is just kind of like how much input do you want to put before it starts moving. So even if you had a controller that had stick drift, you might be able to manipulate those numbers a little bit to make it work, even with the stick drift. So, all right, and now we need to get the button data. So, right here, we'll go byte buffer. This is the other one that does not like to import as easily as it should. GLFW get joystick buttons. And we'll pass the ID through there. Alright, see, like normally you could just hover over it, pops up, but no, you gotta move, or at least I do, I gotta move it down just a little bit and wait. And it'll finally come up. None of the other imports do that. I don't know what's up with that, but it is what it is. All right, and if these don't equal null, well, not null, null, and buttons buff dot limit 0, a list equals buttons buff dot get 0. Nope, not there. 0. Oh, no, not that yet. Equal glfw dot glfw underscore press. Now we put that there. All right. B pressed equals buttons buff dot get. This time it'll be 1 equals glfw dot glfw underscore press. And if buttons buff dot limit greater than 7, start pressed equals buttons buff dot get 7 equals glfw dot glfw underscore s. Guess what? That's it. that's it. With that, and yes, I have notes. I'll always have notes. I'm not that sharp of a guy. Actually, I probably am. I'm just having notes is just a safeguard, right? So I can look back and forth and see if any errors I made. All right, let's come back here. Why? Why is that still in error? Oh, that's interesting. Let's try running it. Yeah, I know, but why? Almost like module layer. We got rid of module layer. Did it sneak in here somewhere? See, this is the error I was telling you about. Where's module? How about we do this? There it is. See? That's what it was. So, okay. That module layer, somehow it snuck into my game panel and messed the game up. All right. Let's give it another go. Oh, make sure my controller's turned on. Right now, I believe, I haven't tested it, but I believe you have to have the controller turned on before you actually run the game. Later, you can turn the game on. There we go. And it will read your controller and you can continue to go. All right. So yeah, it can go outside of the bounds. We don't have any boundaries. We don't have any collision, anything like that. But, boom. There it is. We've got it done. All right, guys. So, until next time, enjoy your coding and hope to see you again.